shipment which got stuck, 40 containers, sleepless nights. The shipment value was also more than 20 crores. At that time, my investors and all the people who've taken loan were standing in front of me. We want our money back. And you know how the Indian people pressure when you are in a heavy debt. The next day when we see there were no goods, 20 container. That was the second instance where I thought, I'm gone. Next day I get a news that the house has been sold and tomorrow we have to vacate it.
Oh.
I still remember I could not even take my stuff from my, cupboards. I manifested when the day will come, I will buy that particular house. And if I buy that particular house, I will write a book about my journey.
You bought the house?
Yeah, I bought that house just for memory's sake.
And then the company's gotten acquired by?
At a valuation of 5 billion. So it should be around 40,000 CR.
40,000 crores. Making him the youngest billionaire of Africa. Believe it or not, but Indian entrepreneurs are changing the business landscape around the world. And one such company started by an Indian is Africa's Mesa Group. The company in 2023 attained an annual revenue of $1 billion and soon got acquired for $5 billion, which is about 40,000 crore rupees, making it Africa's 7th unicorn. And guess where it all started? Here in Dubai. So on this episode of Stories from UAE on CurlyTales Middle East, we will meet the founder of Mesa Group, Mr. Prateek Suri, who is the youngest billionaire of Africa.
But your business leader of this year's award goes to Prateek Suri, founder and CEO of Mesa.
Oh, hi Prateek.
Hi Kamiya.
Well,
Welcome.
beautiful house.
Thank you.
With roots in India and the UAE, Mesa has taken the African market by storm, making high-quality, affordable tech accessible to millions. Founded in 2012 by Prateek Suri, Mesa Group offers smart televisions, refrigerator, washing machines and other electronics, bringing entertainment and comfort to the homes of Africa. Under Suri's leadership, Mesa Group has grown to a $5 billion brand.
As a child, I come from a business background. My father was in business, my grandfather was in business. The elements of business were ingrained in my consciousness since
And
the
in
child.
your blood.
Yeah, in my blood. The business got dipped and the time came to get separated, my father and his brother.
For Prateek, business was in his DNA, but life had other plans. His father's business came to a halt, forcing the family to sell the very home where Prateek was born.
My home, which I was staying in Greater Kailash. So there was a decision after my grandmother passed away that, the brother and my father sold that particular house.
Stability became the priority and the safest path was a job. With hope in their hearts, his family sent him to Dubai, first to study and then build a secure future. But little did they know, Prateek was destined for something far bigger.
I came to Dubai and, I focused on that. Eventually, as I told you, I did not get any job. But when I got the job,
It was too late.
I sold my car, I quit my apartment, and then I was having a couple of pegs. And I decided, I'm not getting jobs, business is for me. And I think I never regretted that decision that I did not join that particular bank.
Prateek saw the setback as a sign, a nudge from the universe pushing him towards his true calling. It was 2011, the digital era was booming and businesses were rushing to get online. He returned to India and door-to-door selling websites.
Then I realized that website was one of the key elements. I did not know at that particular time how to make the website.
Which year is this?
2011. I was very curious to know because I had a deep passion for computer science because I wanted to pursue computer engineering. So it wasn't very tough for me to enter into this particular business. And I hired a salesperson who came to me to sell his socks. He sounded very interesting to me. He could sell those particular socks to me. And I used to think I'm not very smart, you know. तो उसने मेरे को socks बेची, मैंने कहा अरे मेरे को बेच सकता है, ये कुछ भी बेच सकता है. He asked me with the salary of 25,000 rupees. 25,000 was a big amount for me. मैं कहा बच्चे यार मेरे को तो पैसे zero से मैं start कर रहा हूँ. Then I told him, you know, okay, I'll give you 25,000, but 2 महीना तो support भी कर. We'll make this business happen. You know what happens when you go door to door also. So I've been to all those phases. I never thought I belonged to such a royal family, but I went. I kept on going. I got couple of good projects starting from 25,000 to 10 lakhs also. So in the starting it was 20,000, 30,000. Eventually I understood that website business can make me grow in life, but that is not what something I want. I was very fascinated with numbers in the terms of making it bigger in scale.
Prateek kept pushing forward, going door to door across Delhi, growing his business with every scale. He wasn't the one to stop. With a bigger vision in mind, he set his sights on the electronic industry, following in his father's footsteps, but with a fresh perspective and a drive to make an impact.
I had a very clear vision that I want to enter into consumer electronics business. I started to import electronic goods in India, air conditioners and televisions of branded products. Then I thought, you know, I'm selling so many people's brand which are famous, why not start my own brand? And then I started a label, Mesa. The first shipment was started with our money, with my money and with my friend's money. I mean, I saved that particular money.
Okay.
To start electronics, at that time I was not clear that I will start my own brand. Since I was selling O General, Sony and all those products, so then I realized I already have a dealer network in India. So why don't I start my own brand? That's how I started my own brand.
Prateek soon realized that the market was already saturated. Sales were slow and things weren't looking up.
We started, you know, importing finished products from China and started to sell in those distribution market we already had with the branded products, and then eventually the product got rolled out in the market and it was coming up very well. But then I realized that, you know, I'm getting very late in the Indian market, because by the time my turnover started picking up, I was selling in B2B market and Indian market was picking up more in D2C,
Right.
in online market, and I wasn't present in online anywhere, you know, like the e-commerce giants. Then I decided that, you know, start selling in online platform. So we started that in 2017. And then 2017 certain regulations changed in India, you know, BIS regulation, that you cannot import finished products in India, but you can only assemble in India. So, you know, assembly experiences, then we started, you know, and there was a huge shipment coming from China for India market, you know, it was more than 40 containers, and that also held by custom due to some discrepancy issue. The value at stake was very large. My company was self-funded, and the loans and the debts I've taken from the market. And then, you know, I was in a very mess position that a lot of people were asking their money back, and because the entire stock was in custom, people did not, you know, care that he's stuck or not. I realized that these goods cannot be cleared because these are finished products and the regulations are changed. So Prateek, you need to take a step forward. So then, you know, because I had roots with Dubai also previously, so I decided to ship all those products to Dubai. So we took a warehouse in Jebel Ali, and I took all those 40 containers to Jebel Ali, and then, you know,
But Dubai didn't have the issue, no disparity.
Dubai is a tax-free port.
Right.
Dubai is a tax-free port. You can bring in goods and sell anything. Certain documents are required. So in India also there was nothing wrong, but you know, certain documentation part was missing, and supplier was not keen to give that particular documents, and my money and the debt money was on the stake, you know.
Correct.
And certain people who had given me money on the interest, you know, has been started charging double money and started telling me, you know, the pressure was coming from 4 sides, you know. And you know how the Indian people pressure and the market pressure comes, you know, when you are in a heavy debt, you know. At that
What was the value of that debt?
10 crores. I've lost everything. The vision of making myself as an entrepreneur is, you know, was a very wrong decision. At one time I felt.
And as if that was not enough, a shipment of his stock worth 20 crore rupees got stuck at Indian customs, adding to his mounting stress. Calls from debtors kept pouring in, each one a reminder that time was running out.
Certain points definitely you feel scared, like the shipment which got stuck, 40 containers, sleepless nights, yeah, and the shipment value was also more than 20 crores, which eventually went to Dubai market. At that time my investors and all the people who've taken loan were standing in front of me, we want our money back. See, that particular point of time I did not know whom to call, and some people whom I thought would be, you know, those person who will stand by with me were also not there with me, eventually not picked up my call and everything.
Now, this is when fate stepped in. The shipment that got stuck in India was sent to Dubai, forcing him to sell it in the local market. But what he discovered changed everything. 80% of his products were being purchased by the African buyers who were really in need of these electronics.
What people used to do was, they come to Dubai, buy it from the grey market, from Dera, book the containers and sell it in Africa, as a dealers. No one ever tried to do that. That is the gap I saw, no one has done this in India.
What seemed like a disaster turned out to be an opportunity of a lifetime. This was truly Prateek's turning point. He shifted his focus to Africa, building Mesa Group into an African brand that now sells smart TVs, refrigerators, washing machines and more, meeting a demand that no one had tapped into.
People also should understand that before Mesa, there was no successful consumer electronics OEM brand in Africa. None of the Africans have managed to do that. Now the reason behind it is no one has ever tried a proper distribution channel in Africa. As I told you, Africa is very big and every country have different rules and regulations. It's not like India, uniform GST and uniform rules, you can transport goods from one place to another. Every country has a different tax regime in Africa. And then when you give credit to the customer and proper distribution warranty with the service centers and the retail outlets, that was somewhere absent in Africa.
Today, Mesa is valued at $5 billion and Prateek Suri is leading the charge in bringing affordable, high-quality electronics to Africa. His journey is a lesson in spotting opportunities where others see obstacles.
I felt very proud that I've started building business in Africa.
You mentioned you, of course, had great sales skills, but creating your own brand also means creating a product that a lot of people can trust, right?
Yes.
And that involves, of course, a lot of things, especially when it comes to electronics. You can't give faulty products.
Yes.
Did you understand the technology behind it? How
Yes.
did you ensure that your product really stands out in the market?
See, I was engineer, so we understand things very well. That's what I think, engineers understand things very fast. So with the quality we analyze, it's very simple to break up the product components and see, the components are coming from where. So if you see in the TV, the major component is a panel, which is a glass which you see. Glass was manufactured by Samsung, LG and certain Chinese manufacturers. So we chose the glass, which has a good warranty part. For example, the Samsung or, the Chinese manufacturer called BOE. So we never compromised on glass. We always used to buy components directly from the manufacturer, not with the dealers. That's how the quality control was in place. Then one of the biggest element in the Mesa group was, we were the biggest distributors of glass for Africa market. So we were supplying glass also. That particular element of business had a monopoly for 5 years. So we had a contract with several vendors in Japan and Korea that no one else will sell in this particular region in glass. That is something a lot of less people know because this was one of the trade secret at that particular time.
What's the story behind the name Mesa?
So Mesa comes from, father name starts from M, my mother name starts from M, and both the second letter is also A, and then S is our surname,
Right.
and then ER just as an enterprise or something you can call.
Oh, nice.
Like that I stopped.
Prateek went all in to make Mesa a profitable brand in African market. He sold aggressively, meeting the rising demand. But doing business in Africa also means being ready to navigate the challenges of rising crime rates.
One of the customer contacted us and told us that, sir, we have an order for 20 containers in cash payment. They told that you deliver the product to our warehouse and same time we will give you the transfer, telegraphic transfer, TT. So we exported 20 containers. There were 20 trucks which were going to that particular warehouse. Transportation delayed because of, there were timings of transportation. It went at 6 o'clock. So the warehouse in charge, who was the buyer, told us that, now it's 6 o'clock, you can come tomorrow. So trucks can leave here, The next day when we see, there were no goods, 20 container. That was the second instance where I thought, I'm gone.
No goods as in your containers?
They emptied the containers and they took the containers. And the drivers were, with them and they took money and the containers were gone, 20 containers. So imagine my entire capital, whatever I took my efforts to came out of, you know, all this mess which happened in India and all. It just went away in minutes, you know.
He was held at ransom. His products had vanished overnight and there was no way out. The deal had turned into a nightmare. But Prateek wasn't the one to give up.
It was a very bad moment for me because I was thinking, you know, now is the problem whom to discuss again. I just came out of a problem and another problem. Then, you know, what happened was there was a very big summit. These people vanished and everything, you know, and then I came back to Dubai because then I personally visited them, and that was a very shady area, you know. When you go there, it is full dark warehouse area, and you know, you need, you know, courage to go into, to step into that particular area also. So 20 containers was a big value. A TV, one container is $100,000. So imagine, you know, $2 million is just going. That time the company was starting in Africa. Then, you know, eventually 1 year back, there was a very big African summit in Dubai, 1 year back prior to this, where I happened to meet Prime Minister of certain country, and I told him the vision, you know, what I want to do it for Africa. At that particular time, we had a very good relations. We cannot name it because, you know, it's a government thing. So then I wrote an email to him, you know, this is what something happened to it, but this is something, you know, I wrote a very emotional email that I will make Africa, you know, people will call that, you know, certain big companies can be made out of Africa, investments can come into Africa, but I need that support. Someone has just stolen these goods, you know. Then he eventually helped. We recovered 60% of the goods, but we recovered 60% of the goods. That is when I believe that you don't need such a big network and build those network over years, and then you rely that, oh, I know this person, I can call this person now. So now imagine I met a minister in a summit, which I was in touch, you know, in WhatsApp, and that particular minister helped me. He understood the vision of the country and he helped me. So sometimes, you know, I say that it's not necessary to build a lot of network. I see my friends, you know, they are just doing networking every weekends, weekdays, meeting a lot of people. And I see it little reverse way, you know. When you really have some work or really have that synergy that you can complete that work, your work will happen, people will meet you. If you want to meet even the Prime Minister of India, if you have that, you know, project, if you have that synergy that Prime Minister also understands that yes, this can be done, meeting will happen. You know, there has to be a proper synergies.
Yeah.
Today, Prateek has learned the tricks of the trade and mastered the art of doing business in Africa so well that he's soon going to publish a book on the same.
So, you know, the title is Gateway to Africa.
Okay.
The book is about my journey to Africa, certain experiences, and unlocking the questions of how to do business in Africa despite all the challenges, and the people who have curiosity to know the big profits are from Africa and what are the key points to learn from Africa market in terms of government, in terms of regulations, crime or currency fluctuations. So that's the book about, and my journey and the next transition journey about venture capital funds. See, I think people should read this book because, you know, in India also the big entrepreneurs always have a curiosity to know how to invest in Africa. They get scared because of whom to do investment with in Africa and the rules and regulations. And coming straight from an Indian origin entrepreneur who's done in Africa can be a very great insights for them.
A company that started in 2017 skyrocketed to a $1 billion revenue powerhouse by 2024. And that's when Prateek made a bold move. He decided to exit and sell the company, proving once again that timing is everything in business.
Even if you get a valuation offer for 1 billion, that is what the company is called, a unicorn. So I didn't know the word unicorn also that particular time. So then, you know, I thought that what is the opposite of that? So I thought, why not I make a company whose revenue is 1 billion and no one has given me an offer of that. So I made that happen. So my revenue of 2024 got $1 billion. So, you know, I didn't have to, you know, flaunt or celebrate that particular name who has invested me. People who wanted to dig, you know, they had already taken that out. So that is when, you know, after $1 billion achievement and then the SCG Asia Group acquisition was something remarkable that today I feel, you know, I've done something. I did not give up at those times where I had a heavy debt, and none of the people around me were with me at that particular time.
And then the company's gotten acquired by...
At a valuation of 5 billion.
5 billion USD.
Yes.
And if you can convert that into INR,
So it should be around 40,000 CR.
40,000 crores. Okay. Making him the youngest billionaire of Africa.
But your business leader at this year's award goes to Prateek Suri, founder and CEO of Mesa.
But Prateek's true homecoming wasn't in business, it was personal. He bought back the very ancestral home in Greater Kailash where he was born. Despite all his success, his deep attachment to that house never faded. Bringing it back into the family wasn't just a real estate deal, it was a moment of closure, a sense of fulfillment.
So for me also house was a big thing, but my emotional attachment to that particular house was very, very much. My grandfather built that house. At that particular time when they were selling that house, so it was a bungalow, and then I told my father that even if you want to sell that house, you are dividing the money, at least keep one floor for me.
Yeah.
That's where my childhood went. He told me no, because we made the decision mutually.
Yeah.
We will sell that particular house. So I still remember that I had a table in my room. I was studying there. After my boards, the result was coming of the 12th CBSE. Next day I get a news that the house has been sold and tomorrow we have to vacate it.
Oh.
I still remember I could not even take my stuff from my cupboards, and
Right.
then we shifted to some another place, and I manifested when the day will come I will buy that particular house, and if I buy that particular house I will write a book about my journey. That is something I achieved. The house is big or not, it doesn't matter. What matters is the emotional journey of me. Then eventually, the last year I got a news from the market that the house is available for sale. I gave an offer, through several brokers, because I wanted to give a surprise to my mother and father, and without telling them, I bought a house. But that was eventually not possible without them, because I wasn't able to travel. I've been in Africa all the time.
Yeah.
What I could have done is only arrange money. And then I told my father, the time has come, I need to make this offer. And then my father was saying no, he's saying high price. So I said,
It
that
doesn't
particular
matter.
time it did not matter to me, but it mattered to my father. Still, see, I have not stayed in that house a lot.
You bought the house?
Yeah, I bought that house.
You bought that house
Yeah, I bought
just
that.
for memory's sake?
Yeah, just for memory's sake. So that particular house, it's not about that. Greater Kailash is a posh area in Delhi, but it's not about I bought a house in GK. But that particular thing I got it, which I manifested for such long period, and when you eventually get it, that is when you feel you've done something in your own eyes. Forget about others, but in your own eyes also you have to win for a larger picture.
Anybody who is wanting to start a business, what do you think they should have within them?
Ultimately goal, I don't believe in those things कि हम पैसे के बारे में तो सोच ही नहीं रहे, हम सिर्फ बिजनेस को बनाई जा रहे हैं, पैसा अपने आप आते हैं. पैसा बंदा सोचता ही है. You need money. That's why you're doing. You need money, or you want to become big. Vision change होते रहता है. There's no doubt about that. But one thing is stable is perseverance. Whatever vision changes also, if you are very, very strict about your following that particular passion, vision will change. कि चलो ये line अच्छी समझ नहीं आ रही है, and you are very confident that you will fail. You will have to change your vision, no? But when you change your vision, but you are working hard the same way you were working in previous vision, that is what matters.
Prateek Suri's journey is a testament of turning setbacks into opportunities and staying relentless in the face of challenges. After meeting him, I realized success isn't just about strategy, it's about resilience, vision, and never forgetting where you come from. So if you know of someone who's struggling in business, share this video with them and let's inspire more Indian entrepreneurs. Leave your thoughts in comments below and subscribe to CurlyTales Middle East.